Raina, Karen and Janine, thank you for being with us. Now, let's just bring our viewers into the loop before we start, because this interview looks a little different to the way our interviews normally do. Karen, you're at your home office. Raina, you are at home, Skyping in, so you don't have a camera crew with you. Janine, you are here with me in the studio, but you're exactly 1.5 metres away, and there's no one else in this enclosed space. We have measured it. And that's what the new world order is. So we're leading by example on social distancing with these interviews, and I think we'll see a lot more like this from now on. You're exactly 1.5 metres away, and there's no one else in this enclosed space. We have measured it, and that's what the new world order is.
This is so disturbing, it's untrue, and I don't say that lightly. I'm not interested in scaring anybody, but this is really serious stuff now. This is about the health passports. This is basically the mass surveillance in real time of every man, woman and child in the country. So VST Enterprises Limited, or VST, the UK-based cybersecurity firm, have developed a digital health passport and platform, V-Health Passport, from their revolutionary V-Code and V-Platform technology. They're calling it V-Health. Not only helps rapidly speed up the process of getting key critical care workers within blue light emergency services returned into the front line, but also ensures that they do safely and securely. A key worker can present their assigned V-code, that's a number, you're going to be assigned a number, that's your V-code, using their smartphone, fob or lanyard printout, which can be scanned outside of the 2 metre safe distancing zone. This can present in-depth information to any healthcare official / blue light service or high level GDPR compliant screen to members of the public to confirm and authenticate their current health status, visualised by a traffic light system, green, amber or red. So a policeman can see whether you're healthy or not. A fireman can see whether you're healthy or not. NHS workers, reception staff, whoever it might be who has access to this, which is basically they're saying everybody, other than us, can see the status of your health. Other uses of the V-Health Passport are private companies, airlines, hotel chains and sports and leisure organisations that need a return to work passport for their employees and guests. So you see the language, you need a return to work passport for your employees, but here it says guests as well. So if I go to a hotel and I want to check in, they're going to say, can I see your passport? You're going to have a passport now for going to a hotel, checking in for the night. So that receptionist at a hotel will see my health status. When I go to a bar and I buy a drink, because this is their technology is about having is about living in a cashless society. So their V platform and V code are about buying things, and they're attaching the health passport application to that. You will be able to see in real time where I am, if I'm buying a meal at a restaurant, whether I'm buying drinks, whether I'm buying cigarettes, what kind of food that I'm buying. Now you might say, well, what's so bad about that? But when you go to the doctor and they say, what are you eating? They don't need to ask you anymore. They can see what you're eating. And when is it going to come to the point where they're going to say, actually, you can't eat all this food anymore. You can only buy this kind of food. You can't smoke anymore. It's not your choice. We're going to stop you from smoking. That's down the line, but this is here now. And so they'll be able to see in real time what you're buying, where you are, what you're doing. This is privacy. This is no more privacy at all. The STE are currently using their underlying technology V-Code and V-Platform as part of their contracted work with the United Nations as part of the SDG programme. That's the Sustainable Development Programme 2030, which is about getting people into technology, about 9 billion people by 2030 into their technological system. After a healthcare professional has activated and administered a test kit, they can validate whether the digital passport holder has tested negative or positive for coronavirus or has the antibodies present. In future updates, the health passport will include confirmation that they are vaccinated and can contain all information of other vaccinations and make that part of a broader health passport. So this is completely shocking. Now we know why COVID-19 has happened. It is to bring in this mass surveillance and control system, and they're doing it under the health passport scheme. It sounds innocuous. It isn't. This is Nazi Germany at their height on steroids. You are going to be given a V code, a number, and that is going to allow you access to services. If you make a video like this, when is it going to become to the point where they'll be able to turn off accesses to your services? Sorry, you've dissented. You've said something that we don't like, that the corporatocracy doesn't agree with. So now you can't buy food for 3 days. Now you can't buy, you can't go to the cinema. You can't go to a restaurant. You can't buy anything. You can't do anything because we've turned your green passport red, and people won't let you in. People won't sell you things until you have seen a health professional. This is fascism.
That's what the New World Order is.
Please, wherever you are in the world, we need your help. And we need your help now.
So it now should be pretty apparent to everybody that the lockdown, a prison term by the way, lockdown, is just not going to go away, folks. It's in fact never going to go away. When you see the new guidelines that have been put in place to protect us, the social distancing, COVID is being portrayed as this infection that is here to stay until we find a vaccine. By the way, every vaccine they've tried on rhesus monkeys so far has failed. And they're saying it will probably be at least till the end of 2020 or maybe even the end of 2021 before there will be a vaccine ready and it will be safe to go outside, according to Bill Gates, because it seems to be Bill Gates who's dictating what our governments can and cannot do at this stage. Of course, he wasn't elected to do so and he has no medical degree, but that seems to be what's happening. But even JP Morgan, of all people, are saying things like the lockdown has made no difference to the spread of coronavirus, but it has destroyed millions of lives simply due to the economic damage that's been done. And they're kind of letting it slip that the lockdown's never going away. Even with camping here in Australia, Australians love to go camping. There's a new site that tells you the safe places you can go and the better places to look for camping sites that will work with the New World Order. They actually say it, New World Order. It's right there on the website, ladies and gentlemen. You know, can I still go camping? Well, you've got to find better sites. Here's a site that's better when researching a spot that works for the New World Order. I mean, what can you say to this stuff, folks? What can you say? A California doctor, there's a California doctor, I can't remember his name offhand while I'm walking around the yard here, who says that the suicide rates in California for this month, they've had a year's worth of suicides in the last month due to the lockdown. And this is the thing, folks. Everything the government has done to protect you so far is being done to isolate you and to do damage. The damage that has been done by the lockdown far exceeds any damage that has been done by this alleged coronavirus. And everybody who suffered through this lockdown, everybody who's died from suicide, anybody who's lost their business, all of this stuff, folks, people who die, everybody who is going to die through poverty, through starvation, through suicide, through any of these means, this is murder by proxy by government. These invalid parasites we have masquerading as government here in Australia have systematically removed every single one of your inalienable rights. Every single one has been taken from you. Now you can't just go out and hang in the park. You can't just go and do normal things you would do because it's against the law. They will stop you sitting by yourself in the park in order to protect you from coronavirus or protect other people from coronavirus. So they'll give you little circles in the park to sit in. Total isolation. Self-isolation. That's what they want. They want everybody completely isolated from everybody else. And they want everybody under mass surveillance and under lockdown for the rest of existence. That's the plan, folks. That's the plan. And, you know, I don't know what it's going to take for people to wake up to the fact that this is never going to go away. It's never going to go away, folks. Not unless you stand up and make it go away. You know, if people can't see what's happening here, if people are simply going to comply with this is going to be the end of life as we know it. No more freedom. You're now living in an open air prison where everything you do is monitored, and it won't just be every transaction you make. Soon it will be every conversation that you have will be monitored, whether it is in the privacy of your own home or not, or to protect you from COVID. All diseases are being reclassified as COVID. Everything is COVID, COVID, COVID. Folks, what's it going to take for you to realise that this bunch of parasites we have sitting in Canberra here in this country have, you know, committed murder by proxy for every suicide that's been committed. You know, these alleged deaths for coronavirus are 101 in this country, and we can't even prove that they did actually die of COVID-19 because you can't believe anything the government's saying because they're a bunch of liars anyway. They've destroyed the lives of millions of people, closed all our state borders. I don't think they're ever going to open again. We need to rethink interstate travel from now on. This is what these parasites are saying. You know, and I tell you, it's so hard to stop, to not swear, be sitting here ranting and raving and swearing my head off. But ScoMo, I charge you with treason. The entire Australian government is guilty of treason. It is a treasonous, traitorous enterprise that needs to be dissolved and dismissed immediately and held accountable for their actions. And as I've said before, if there's a policeman in this country who has more than 2 brain cells to rub together and half of a backbone, could you please go and arrest the federal government? Because they're a treasonous entity. They put this whole place under lockdown under a false pretense. They're making people wear masks. If Brendan Murphy, massive bucket of turd that he is demanding that people wear masks for their safety, well, he is endangering the public safety by making this demand of people and putting the type of fear that he's putting into the minds of people. You know, I don't know what's going to take for the world to wake up to what is happening. You know, all these people out here who think Trump's your friend in America, Trump put your country under lockdown, folks. You're in lockdown. Like I said, lockdown is a prison term. You're all in prison now. We're all in prison now, folks. It's just an open air prison. You know, we've never been free. We've only ever been free range. But now we're not even free range. We're not going to be allowed to be free range anymore. We're going to be imprisoned into our own homes under the pretext of keeping us safe from each other. Because all human contact may transmit the terrible COVID. It's such a bunch of bullshit, folks. It really is. And it's incredibly frustrating to see people going along with it. I went to go to a shop the other day. There was a sign outside the shop. Only 2 people are allowed inside. So I had to sit there and wait outside the shop. I ended up walking away. Couldn't be bothered going in there. Can't be bothered waiting. I'm not doing the social distancing. I won't stand 1.5 meters apart from everybody. And I won't wear a mask. And these are the things people need to ask. If you're claiming I need to wear a mask to go into the shop to protect my health or to protect anyone else's health, then please provide me with proof of claim. Because you're not a doctor and you seem to be handing out medical advice. And according to doctors, these things are bad for my health. So why should I wear one? Or to enter your establishment. So I've got to damage my health in order to enter your establishment. That's the new normal, is it? People have to wake up. People have to wake up. Great reports that have been put out by James Corbett, his series on Bill Gates. The last one that he put out, Who is Bill Gates? You need to watch it. I'll put a link in the description below. His entire series on Bill Gates needs to be shared everywhere. This parasite, folks, and these parasites we have in our government that are doing this shit, it's got to stop. It's got to stop. You know, where's the anger? Where's the outrage? You can all be love and lie to you about it all you like, folks. They're taking your freedoms away. Where is the anger? There is such a thing as wholesome, righteous anger. Where is it? Is it the fluoride? What is it? Maybe it is the fluoride. I don't know, folks, but things have to change. Things really have to change. I'd really love to be coming on and just doing some positive reports. I'd love to be talking about history. I'd love to be talking about all sorts of things apart from this. But we've got such a short window here. We've got such a short window to re-establish freedom. Time is not on our side. Time never has been on our side, but it's getting less and less. And if people don't wake up soon, then they're going to lead us all into a nightmare reality that no one is going to want to be in. It's not a place you're going to want to bring your children into. And again, folks, if the school your kids are going to is practicing social distancing, you need to pull your kids out of that school. This is so bad. So bad for children to have to go through this stuff. There's the peacocks up here. He comes when you call him, you see, this little fella. Let's say hello. This is Billy. Hey, Billy. Want to say hello to everybody? Hey? You got something to say? You're not going to say anything. But yeah, I don't know. What's it going to take, folks? I'd love to come on and just do some positive, uplifting shows. We have to face it. You know, the entire Australian government is in abusive office. Scott Morrison, you're in abusive office. You people have abused the office that you hold to delegate yourself powers that you have no right to have. I mean, who do you think you are? You're just people, like us, just people. You can't do this. You can't control people the way you think you can. The only reason you're getting away with it is these jackbooted thugs dressed like Batman that are all pre-programmed to do what they're told. The order followers, who are going to get hung out to dry with everybody else. And the order followers are the biggest problem. These brain-dead police officers that just don't have two brain cells to rub together. They just do anything the government tells them, no matter how corrupt it is. You know, but you're in abusive office. You know, you're elected to do things for the people. You're not doing anything for the people. You're just screwing us. Doing everything you can for your bankster masters. Men in small hats who really want to get all this done. You ever looked at what's going on in Israel, folks, while everybody's under lockdown? You see the protests where they say there was one thing that was put out there, oh look, all the Israelis are protesting, they're all standing 1.5 metres apart. There's a guy who did a video and it showed what's actually happening in Tel Aviv. And you can do it yourself, folks. Just log on and look at live webcams. Just go and look at live webcams and see what's going on in Tel Aviv. See what's going on in places where they're telling you the lockdown's happening. You can go and look at a lot of places. Look at Rome, look at Italy. Just check out live webcams. Just go do a search for live webcams. You can hook into a lot of street cameras all around the place, you know, Times Square, all over the place. Check out the webcams in Tel Aviv and tell me if you're seeing any social distancing going on in Israel. They're telling you what it is. you know, oh yeah, we're doing all the same stuff as everybody else. Well, actually, they're not.
Here is today's date, 23rd of May 2020, just to confirm, today is a Saturday. So, at the moment we have the Vatican is closed. Yep. We also have Mecca, that's closed, and it's the Ramadan. This was published on the 5th of March 2020. Yeah. And it says the only people here are the people disinfecting the place. These people with cars here, look. So, now we are having social distancing imposed on us. Children are being denied going to parks to play. There is new apparent restrictions for children attending to school. We are told not to go visit our parents. We have to wear these unhealthy masks when we go shopping. And this is one child expressing herself.
So I just read you the guidelines about starting school from the CDC when school starts up again. How do you feel about it?
It's just torture. Why do we need to do this? Like, I get the masks, but why? Just so many things.
What did they say that you can't do that hurts you the most?
We can't talk to our friends, we can't do physical activity, like we can't do anything.
They can't talk to their
You
friends.
sit in a class, like you just
Look at the eyes.
sit there all day and do nothing.
But they'll be
Suck the life out of her. Now, here's what the mainstream Zionist media is reporting, that the Israelis are demonstrating 2 meters apart, yeah? Probably trying to suggest a new normal for protests. Here is what Mr. Netanyahu has to say.
And now we go to Israel. I'm happy that Israel is joining the coronavirus global response. And allow me to introduce a message from Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
Greetings to all of you from Jerusalem. Defeating a global pandemic demands a global partnership. That's why I want to commend EU President Ursula von der Leyen for bringing together countries from around the world to combat the coronavirus. Israel, like all countries, has been greatly affected by it. Fortunately, our casualties thus far have been relatively low. This has been the result of early action to contain the disease, advanced technology to locate those infected, first-rate medical professionals, and a disciplined population that largely adhered to the mitigation policies enacted by our government. But as we all know, the corona epidemic is far from over.
So, let's stop there. Now, let's see what is happening in Israel. These are live webcams here. Boom. No social distancing. I don't see any social distancing here, do you? Unless the Israeli 2 meters is a different standard. And let's go. Here is the beach in Tel Aviv. Voila! So, if you can't see what's going on here, sorry to say you're part of the problem. Feel free to use this material for your videos you upload.
So yeah. And none of the cops are social distancing, you notice that? None of the politicians are social distancing. They can go and do anything they want, these people. They can go anywhere they want, they can do anything they want, they can talk to anybody they want, they don't have to social distance, they just do anything they want. But I know, you got to stay home, you got to do what you're told, is to keep you safe. Can't touch anything, COVID-19 might be on it. You can't go to restaurants, you can't do any of that, but you can go to Walmart, you can go to Target, you can go to Woolworths, you can go to all these other major shopping centres, all the big chain stores, but you can't go to restaurants, you can't go to the beach, you can't go to the park. You can't have groups of more than 10 people gathering together. But you can have, 20 people in a supermarket, not a problem, it's all good. Unbelievable, folks. The rules are such bullshit and everything they're saying is bullshit, and they're all guilty of treason. All of our governments around the world need to be arrested, a lot of them. Every single one. Any government that's just pushing this bullshit needs to be arrested. Scott Morrison, you should be in jail. You should be ashamed of yourself. And your little bum buddy, Brendan Murphy, and that other fucking ridiculous idiot, what's his name? Greg Hunt, the guy who believes that he can give advice to doctors on vaccinations when he doesn't have a medical degree, who is the Minister of Sport, for God's sake. Get a fucking brain, Greg Hunt. Sorry for swearing, folks, but I can't help it with these parasites. I really can't. I don't know. I'd like to meet them. I'd like to see the whole country go to Parliament House, go to Canberra and just call these people out and say, hey, explain yourselves. I'd like to see them do a lot more than that, but anyway. It's time to vote this government out. It's time to get a people's vote, a referendum, whatever, do whatever we have to do, folks, but it's time to dismiss the Australian government. There are a bunch of treasonous lying cretins who are carrying out murder by proxy for every suicide that's happened since this lockdown. This is the government that have killed these people deliberately through their fake pandemic. All the people that have lost their businesses, everyone that's out of work, everybody's in a state of stress, all the children that are stressed out. This is psychological abuse of children, all carried out deliberately by the parasites masquerading as government, this invalid corporate entity in Australia here, which has been invalid since 1973, since Gough Whitlam declared the Queen of Australia, and has been invalid ever since they arrived anyway. I mean, what is government, folks? It's a bunch of dipshits that get there and tell you what to do and gradually steal all your freedoms from you. That's all they've done. Like I said, they have removed every single inalienable right that humankind ever had, rights that existed before the invention of the state. So the question is, how long are you prepared to take this? When is enough going to be enough? How much more are you going to let these parasites take from you? Are you prepared to live the rest of your life and the rest of eternity in an open-air prison? Because what they've got in place now, this is going to get worse. You wait till the second wave comes, folks. This was just a taste of what's to come. They'll relax it a little bit now, get everybody back to normal, we get the money used to half normal, and then they're going to bring it in full on, open slather, and you won't be able to move without these parasites knowing what you're doing. And by the way, folks, if they coerce you in any way and tell you you will be deprived of any privilege or of entering any store or of any of your rights at all, you won't be able to buy things or you won't be able to go to certain shops or whatever if you don't download the COVID tracing app, well, that's coercion and that's against the law, and that's also terrorism. Terrorism is defined as violence or the threat of violence carried out against civilians as a means of coercion. And that type of violence doesn't have to be physical violence, folks. It can be the violence of depriving you of your food, the violence of not allowing you to go anywhere, the violence of telling you what to do in any way, shape or form. This is all violence, folks. Everything the government does is violence. That is the basis of their entire system. It's all based on violence, and they're really pushing it to the next level with this. And they're going to just keep pushing until people push back and say no, enough is enough. Well, that's my call, folks. Enough is enough. Scott Morrison, you're a traitor. You're guilty of treason. The entire Australian government is in abuses of office, and we, the people of Australia, need to rally together to express a loss of confidence in this government's ability to govern, call them out for the bunch of liars they are, and take whatever steps are necessary to have these parasites dismissed and held accountable for their actions. Perhaps we'll get some of their personal fortune that they've stolen from the people, and we'll use that to rebuild this country into something good. That's what we need to do, folks, by whatever means possible. There's a war going on here, folks, and the war is being waged against the people by these parasitic terrorists masquerading as government. What else can I say? This is terrorism. Everything you're doing, Scott Morrison, this is terrorism. You know it. Everybody knows it. What all these governments are doing to their people, this is frickin' terrorism. You people should be ashamed of yourselves. And I wonder if you're even people at all. I really do. But that's about all I've got to say for you today, folks. I'll try to tone it down a little bit on the next couple of reports. I just, the news reports come in every day, and every day it's just a bit more bullshit from these people. Just a bit more pushing, a bit more prodding, more suicides, more death, more destruction, all as a response to COVID-19. Well, the response to COVID-19 is murder by proxy by governments. That's what's happening. And getting people to kill themselves, getting people to starve to death, getting people to lost and destitute and homeless. Every single piece of hardship that happens to anybody as a result of COVID-19 is not a result of COVID-19. It's a result of the lockdown. It's a result of the response that governments have made to this fake pandemic, because it is fake. Even if COVID-19 was real, it's killing like less than 0.1% of anybody anywhere. And what they've done as a response is massively destructive. And, it's about time we called it, folks. So I want to see all these people dismissed. I want to see them all held accountable for their actions. And I'll tell you one thing, I'm not going to do a fucking thing they say. I draw my line in the sand. The buck stops here. But anyway, folks, I'll try to bring you something positive soon. I really will. I'll try to be a little bit more happy. It's just hard in the face of all this crap. And I'll try to stop swearing, but I tell you, they get me mad. But anyway, folks, thanks for all the emails. Thanks for all the support. Thanks for all the kind words. Thanks for everything that you do and all the positive input that you give me. Thanks for all the information that people are sending me as well. Keep it up. But anyway, folks, I'll talk to you again soon. Please take very good care. Until then, in Lakesh.